All right, guys, I'm sitting here for the recap of the Philadelphia Eagles against the San Francisco 49ers that occurred earlier today. I apologize for not putting the material out. I always put out like a thumbnail of what happened during the game, like a recap, like the score, kind of like what they do online with the social media websites. I usually put that out. I know not very many people look for it, but I will be putting that out. I had a few people over today, a few family friends, so I didn't want to be rude and go off and create a thumbnail while we were watching football. But I do want to give a recap of this game. I want to say that I didn't really have that many expectations for this game. I don't think very many people thought that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to win. I certainly did not think the Philadelphia Eagles were going to win. However, I thought it was going to be a score that was far exceeding what the actual score ended up being. Um, I want to go ahead and get out of the way the positive aspects of the game. First positive aspect was there weren't any. We didn't turn the ball over. We did not turn the ball over. First 2 weeks we have not turned the ball over, despite the loss. We haven't turned the ball over. We haven't gotten any turnovers, but we haven't turned the ball over. So that is one specific positive. I guess you could say that another positive happened to be the first half defense, which only allowed 7 points in the football game. And, you know, you could possibly credit the fact that the 49ers were just really bad. You could also credit the fact that we had good leadership up front. We had Brandon Graham in the first half. Unfortunately, Brandon Graham is out for the season. I feel like that's a bigger loss than the game because of how much he brings to the team. I was none too happy when the Philadelphia Eagles drafted Brandon Graham, but at this point in time, what he has been to the organization just can't be replicated, and he will be missed on the field. But you give Josh Sweat that big contract, he's gonna have to do something about that. He's going to have to step into his own. But the first half defense was great. Guys were flying around. There were opportunities to get turnovers, but we didn't build off of those opportunities to get turnovers. Um, Stopped the run really well. I think it was something along the lines of outside of two drives in the first half, the 49ers had zero third down conversions. So the way things are, if you're going to bring that to the forefront week after week, then that is something that I would love to see. I've always wanted to see this team have a shutdown defense, and it's really looking like that could be a possibility. Could be a possibility. So those are the two positives that I have for this game. Again, the negatives will outweigh the positives. And let me just say this: like I don't have any expectations for this season. Even after last week, I didn't really have any expectations. A lot of people were talking about how great Jalen Hurts was, and I always said, dude, pump the brakes on this because he's a young quarterback, and we're just evaluating him. And this game showed right there how Jalen Hurts isn't ready to be considered a high caliber quarterback. He played really well against Atlanta, but you can see on the field that the guy has limitations. Either he has limitations or there are limitations to the plays. The plays just seem very simplified for him. You look over to the other side with the 49ers, their playbook is very complex. And I think there was one drive where they threw three consecutive screen passes. And it got 5 or 6 yards, and that'll weigh heavily on your defense. I don't see any of that from the Eagles. I don't see any of that. We'll run screens, but we won't run misdirection screens. Screen misdirection that is going to get like a tight end or a fullback open. I don't even think we play with a fullback. So it's just one of those things where you can see the limitations that he has on the field. Now, I will say that Jalen Hurts does have decent vision and he has a really good arm, but he really needs to work on these limitations that he has on the field. And I don't know if that's a play calling thing or what, but he really needs to get it together because he was drafted in the second round. Now, when guys are drafted in the second round, a lot of them are really expected to be starters in the future, but if you're going into a new administration and a new regime like the Eagles have, those people are put on a very short list. And if he continues to play that way, now I don't know if we'll face very many teams with the defensive quality that the 49ers have, then we could have some definite problems. Another problem with the defense was the fact that they were very susceptible to those outside pitch plays, and they really didn't adjust to that at all. Like the 49ers, they were pitching the ball to the outside. That's where they got a lot of their yards. When they tried to run to the inside, they were very limited. But when they made plays to the outside, where you have big guys blocking smaller guys, it just didn't really work out. The last thing that I'm going to say about this game is something that I am very, very critical of, and I'm very worried about. Like, here's the thing. Like, the game was tough. We lost. Again, I'm not mad that the team lost because they played their hearts out. It was very obvious from the game that they played their hearts out. But two things, I said one thing, but two things are kind of graining to me. The first thing is Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith was very limited in this game. Now, you're a first-round draft pick. You're a former Heisman Trophy winner. And you're letting balls go right through your hand. I understand you're getting checked. I understand that you're getting harassed. I get it. But here's the fact of the matter. We drafted you to be a guy who could be electric. And I just haven't seen that. You could say, well, he did that against the Falcons. Well, again, that's the Falcons. The Falcons aren't supposed to be a good team right now. Right? I had thought that the Falcons were going to be more on par of what the Eagles are. The other thing is discipline. Now, there was a play in the game where it was at the very end. And I don't know if frustration comes in, but there was a play where our former first-round draft pick, Derek Barnett, the ball was fumbled. And it was starting to roll out of the end zone. And the guy who fumbled it was like standing up. It ran out of the end zone. Derek Barnett goes up and checks him. Right in the face, or right in his body, and it was a personal foul. Dude, you can't do that. You can't do that. I don't care who you are. You can't do that. That is going to absolutely ruin everything, my dude. You can't do that. That's a 15-yard penalty, personal foul. That's a first down for the offense in a high pressure situation. You know, otherwise it was very clear that the 49ers outmaneuvered the Eagles in the second half. They really took control of that game. They were play calling better. They were doing everything better in that game. We could barely get the ball in when it wasn't garbage time. We could barely get the ball in from the 1 yard line. You need to fix that. And one thing I do miss about Carson Wentz is the fact that if we needed a yard, it didn't matter what down it was. Carson Wentz could run it in, could bull rush it in. unfortunately, I don't think Jalen Hurts is big enough. He's not big enough for that. So this was the game. And again, I don't have any expectations. And one of the most discerning things is the fact that, you know, I haven't really been on social media that much, but anytime you have anything negative to say about Jalen Hurts, it's just brushed to the side. You're called a hater. Now look, he didn't have a good game. I'm not on him telling him, you suck. I'm not saying that. But you need to improve. You need to improve for the better. You're a leader. You're wearing the captain's patch on your jersey. You have to build off of every experience you have. And you need to show that you're not a limited quarterback. Because what you showed today was that you were a limited quarterback. This team plays the Cowboys. And the Cowboys are not an easy opponent to play against. But you have to go ahead and you have to rebound. And whether you win or lose, you have to rebound. Okay? And that's all that needs to be said. So I hope everyone has a good night. I'm out. Peace.